You went from talking about Solana meme coins, you were very bullish on those, to now SUI.
Solana felt a little saturated with this pump.fun and all.
Today I'm thrilled to welcome back Keith.
I really didn't want to start my own meme coin.
He is a physician and crypto enthusiast since 2017. Last year, he shared his meme coin strategies with us, and now he's back to talk about AXOL on SUI, and it's taking the internet by storm.
I wanted to drop some alpha today.
I am so thrilled to welcome Keith back to the show. Keith, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's been about a year since we last talked.
And so many things are changing. Obviously, the space is ever evolving. You went from talking about Solana meme coins, you were very bullish on those, to now SUI, which I remember getting your first message to me like, hey, start learning about SUI, get into it, so why don't you tell us, Keith, like, what's the deal with SUI now?
I did take it upon myself, and I've created a document where you can have all the information you need. Check out the description down below.
Yeah, I know. It's starting to sound like I'm bipolar, right? Every year I talk about a new chain as it's the new hottest thing, but I loved Solana coming from Ethereum just because of when they integrated Phantom Wallet and everything started to go down with trading on your phone. And I thought, wow, this is the next thing. We're not going on our PCs anymore to trade. We could just do it from the comforts of our bed. And so when you're looking for the next best thing, and you saw that Solana with the meme coins like we talked about a year ago, they were really popping off. You've seen this huge flux of people starting to trade. You always want to think to be ahead of the curve. And so I was looking when Solana felt a little saturated with this pump.fun and all these new things popping off, what's going to be the next best thing? Because there are still some shortages. I don't know if you noticed, like about 3 months ago, you couldn't even trade on certain things like Jupe. You had to go to Radium, and there was just this friction starting. And I really didn't want to start my own meme coin. I just love being a community member. I got stuff going on in real life.
You're a doctor. You're a physician. You're busy.
It's fun to have other things going on, in your life. But yeah, I started to look and I saw some of these projects. They'd rug. You'd have these wonderful communities going on, and then the founders would go silent. And I'm thinking, this is not a good look for the industry. We really got to have some people with integrity doing this stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to get a team together and I'm going to launch a coin by myself because I think there's a right way of doing things. And so we decided to go on the SUI network just because if you ever get a chance to check it out, everybody that's listening for the first time, I highly encourage you just to dive over there, convert a little bit of money over there, play around because it's got this high throughput. That means it's really fast. There's this low latency, so you avoid these bottlenecks. And so it's really a quick response for the user when you're doing transactions. They're coming on mobile as well. There's more validators. And so to answer your question, the way that network was set up, it's in this parallel fashion. And so as they add more validators to the network, it makes it even faster and reliable. And so that this team came from the Facebook genre. They launched this coin called Libra, and due to some regulation issues with the SEC and Gary Gensler, they ended up not being able to launch that. And that's how SUI was created. And so they have this knowledge of how the internet works, and they have this vision to be the overlay of the internet and not make the user feel like they're using crypto. And so all that made me super bullish. And I said, I want to be a part of this. I want to build on this. And so that was the birth of AXOL.
So you're saying it's faster, cheaper. So talk to me about AXOL and this whole creation of a meme coin. First of all, congrats, because it's doing really well. But what does it take to launch a meme coin? I don't know. Talk to me.
It takes a lot of coffee, a lot of restless nights. No, so when we want to come up with a character, if you know that the name SUI names in water in Japanese, and so it's kind of the water network, it flows nicely. And so we want to come up with this water creature. There's all this dog meta, cat meta, and we want to be something unique. And all the rage with my kids for some reason, I didn't even know what an axolotl was until a couple of years back. And then I started seeing these little creatures all pop up around my house. And my daughter's got all these stuffed animals that I kind of put in the background. And so I'm like, what is this thing? I couldn't even pronounce axolotl for the longest time. I had to look up the correct pronunciation. And I thought, oh, how cool would it be to have a 4-letter word, AXOL? It's a cool ticker. Did a lot of the ChatGPT, Google searching, making sure that this wasn't taken ready. And when I saw that there was no network that has used AXOL as a meme token, I'm like, all right, let's assemble the team. So one of the great things about trading, meeting people like yourself in real life events like NFT and NYC, we met over there. you meet these people that have this passion for crypto. And so you develop this network of like-minded people. And so I've got to talking to a lot of people that were developers and founders of other coins, and people that know Telegram, people that know X. Even that, I should bring that up. Before, when I was into like, Bored Apes and CryptoPunks and all that, I was on Reddit. And so I just found out about Discord. Then from Discord, now I feel like the meta's changed to Telegram.
Yep.
So I've had to learn how to use Telegram right now, and I'm getting directions with that. But once we assembled a team of everybody together, a dev, it's a different it's Move language over there for the coding. So we had to learn how to launch over there. But it went smoothly. We've been out for about 3 months now, and every day it's just a new challenge and things that we're building. And we just got done finishing building a game right now that was a lot of work. We teamed up with this company called Hello Moon that partners with crypto projects. They're mainly on Solana, and they help us build this game that integrates with SUI wallets. And now we're awarding people with AXOL. So just crazy. If you had asked me 3 months ago, would you have built a game? I would have said, are you crazy? I don't even know how to use Telegram, let alone build a game. But no, we made it happen, and it's been an awesome journey so far.
I'm super impressed. Like, I remember when I first got your message, my first instinct was, is Keith hacked? Like, did he get hacked? Because someone's writing to me about some other chain, and some coin. I'm like, I think he's hacked. I remember writing to you, like, are you real? So talk to me, because, we've been seeing a lot, like, obviously the charts are very red right now, and, we'll see what happens into the new year. But it seems like, meme coins for this second anyway, for like Web2 and normies, it seems like it's kind of like a joke, like, like the fart coin meta is all out and whatnot. So talk to me about AXOL and how, like, I would say it's more than just a joke, like it's a fun community to be in. SUI's a great to be learning right now, new people, different people, which is what I love too. It seems like there's, a whole different community there. So what makes AXOL not your typical meme coin joke, right?
Yeah, no, I get it. I sometimes laugh when I see all these new tickers launch. I like to categorize memes. It reminds me back in the day when we talked about different music genres. Like when I was growing up, we had house music, Euro, techno, how everybody just calls it EDM music. And so like that's memes to me right now. So you've got this AI meta, you've got this joke fart meta, you've got these actual cultural coins. And that's kind of what I view this coin as. Like we're trying to be the SUI culture of people that are like-minded, support SUI, want to have a good time, want to get together daily, enjoy each other's company. And the real allure to me that made me pivot from NFTs, and I still love NFTs, no shade at them at all, but just was the onboarding capability of somebody just being able to spend $1 and you could start showing up to spaces. You could start being the lead community member. You could start stepping it up in Telegram. You could start making pictures for the project, and that could all just be for $1. And so when I was in NFTs, you'd start to see the really popular ones. They would go up thousands of dollars. And then now you've pretty much excluded a large portion of the world that's not going to be part of it. And then it became more of like a ego thing. This is my profile picture. And if you don't have it, we're better than you. Whereas memes to me is just low barrier to entry. Anybody could join. And I'm having conversations with people that are 15 years old. I'm having conversations that are 60s-year-old that are all AXOL holders. And to me, it reminds me of like this new almost religion where you got all these people from across the world, different ages, different genders, different religious backgrounds, ethnicities, all coming together just for a fun thing like the AXOL.
Funny because you mentioned this and I totally agree with you. Like I had to stop buying into the art on the blockchain. Even when I entered the whole Bitcoin community and there was like this talk about ordinals and art on Bitcoin. And every time I was like ready to go buy art, I used to like now double or second guess myself. Like, should I just go buy Bitcoin and not this art that like, although like you said, you're entering this community, but what else? Whereas I do feel like the meme coin meta right now is the new meta just in its entirety is, like you said, less less costly. People can come in as they please. They join the community, the cult and whatnot. And I'm happy to hear that you're getting people from different ages, because I did want to talk about AXOL's community. I just recently joined, and I'm happy to be a part of it. And you guys are killing it. Like, there's new listings now. You've got spaces, daily spaces. The Twitter account is growing. You've got, the art that's ever evolving too. So talk to me about the community itself.
Yeah, great question. And thank you so much for showing up to those community spaces. It means a lot. And you start seeing it's just people that you've met along the way that have a passion for crypto. And really the awesome thing for me is this culmination of, I enjoyed working with you before on your podcast, and now I get to do it again. So it's almost selfish that I get to do that. And so I've been on so many of these meme spaces. When we started, there were only 5 people in our audience, 10 people, and now we're having hundreds of people. And so it's beautiful to see. It makes me smile when you think about what's transpired in over 3 months.
I just keep going back to the reasons why I joined crypto in the first place, which was, this idea of anyone, no matter their gender, their religion, their background, the years of education they have, can just join in and participate, which, we don't see in certain countries, with bankings and checking accounts. There's still a lot of countries where not everyone has access to an actual bank account. So I love what you're saying here. I do want to ask you, because again, you've been in these meme coin trenches for years now. So I did want to ask you the lessons you learned, right? Like from successful meme projects that you brought into SUI, and then for AXOL, and then things that you were like, I'm deliberately not going to do this. Like, what was it for you? What are the pros and cons?
Yeah, that's a phenomenal question. And it really helped me when we were getting together as a group and saying, this is what we see ourselves doing in Q1, Q2, based off other projects. And I really want to say we stand on the shoulders of giants. There's other projects that have been launched on ETH, like SHIB, and you've seen how they became viral, and it's because of certain people on Twitter promoting it. And so that's got to be somewhat in the arsenal of what you're planning to do. But one of the big inspirations was Bonk. Solana, after the whole kind of downfall of FTX and Everett Sandbag-Friedman, you've seen this dump in price. And so what ended up happening was Bonk did an airdrop to all of these users that had this wallet. And so it was literally pennies at the time. And then you've seen this team just start building and integrating. They've come up with all these different applications and utilities behind this meme coin, and they really became the meme of Solana. And so when we thought of SUI, we're like, well, we'd love to be the meme, the water meme on SUI, but how did they get to that point? And so they did things like make an aggregator where you could swap all of your dust tokens in your Phantom wallet into Bonk, and that's good wallet hygiene. And so that's kind of the avenue that we're taking this. I know utility is the scary word. I don't look at it as utility. I look at it as fun things outside of just holding a project. And so that's how we birthed the game. Now we're working on an aggregator. I wanted to drop some alpha today. We're working with the SUI community right now. We're going to be coming up with a profile picture generator. So you're going to be able to take your standard pic and put gills on the side of your head or put a little tail behind you to support the AXOL community. So we wanted to do it the right way, where it's not just focusing on max gains. We really want to make this a multi-cycle play, because let's face it, you and I have been in here since probably 2017-ish, and we're showing up every day still. And we know we're going to be here 2-3 years from now. So why not build something that you're proud of along the way that you can look back on and say, hey, I was a part of that and did something great.
It's interesting, Keith, because people always come to me like, hey, why don't you create this girl in the verse thing? And I'm like, I always was weirded out by it, even launching an NFT, because my main worry was that everyone would just think price go up, or what else are you going to do? When's the next announcement? Which we constantly saw too in 2021, right? It's if there wasn't a new announcement, people would sell and get out, which is why, I'm excited for what AXOL is doing. Talk to me too about the game, because I didn't start playing the game, but I will. But you launched a game, Keith. I can't, this is crazy.
Yeah, it was one of my most proud parenting moments because I got my daughter where I'm handing my phone and she's, tapping the screen. And just a few weeks before that, we were coming up with the colors of what we were going to make this thing. And so it was really cool to see. It's nothing like a World of Warcraft type game or Call of Duty. It's just a fun game you could play on your mobile phone where you have this axolotl that's swimming through the SUI ocean, dodging little objects like little hedges in the water and anchors from boats that you're missing. And as you progress, you're getting a higher score. So you do not have to connect a wallet. You could literally just go to the website right now and play it. Or if you choose to, if you set up a SUI wallet, all you need is a Gmail or email. You could connect it to this, and then what it does is track the high scores. And so every week, what we're doing is the first, second, and third place, we're giving them a certain amount of AXOL to play. And so it's just fun to see people in Telegram posting their high scores. People are posting it on Twitter. And
You're a dad, you're launching this meme coin. The kids love the whole water, ecosystem. What's it been like for you to see your kids playing now and be interested in what you're doing? I guess they're more interested in this than the whole physician thing.
I mean, kids just think of you as the breadwinner, right, of the family. This for buying them toys. So in terms of what you do in real life or your projects in crypto, it's hard to get them excited. But it's been fun kind of teaching them about education and building, like when I teach them about health, for instance, it's what you do on a daily basis that's going to give you the long-term results. And that's kind of the way I tell them, hey, Daddy's going to be a little bit busy with building this, but it's with the intention of you're going to see some great things kind of come out from it. And this game was one of them. And so now when I have to go on a podcast like this, I could easily just hand them over the game so they could play it for fun. And no, that's what I'm working on.
Obviously, this is not financial advice, but, we do want people to be aware of what's coming. 2025 is literally around the corner. I like to think that in 2025, we're going to be hearing more about SUI, more about these new chains that are coming in. What would you tell someone right now who's so used to hearing, the typical main big chains, right? You think about Bitcoin, you think about Ethereum, you're thinking about Solana. Why should someone start at least getting interested in SUI? Because I was so new to SUI, but I did, after all these years of experience, I thought to myself, this is how the market works. There's always going to be this new thing. Not everything new means that it's better, but why? Like, what would you tell someone right now who's so used to being in the same coins, and why should they start maybe adapting or jumping into this new one like SUI?
Yeah, I think people get very comfortable with whatever they've made money on. So you're going to see a lot of people that got in early on Bitcoin, and now this is what they know, and they think this is hard money, and they're not going to experiment with any other things. And then you have certain things like Ethereum, where now you've got all these NFTs that have legacy provenance value to them, and people traded them. There's many artists that chose to launch on them. And so they just want to stick with what they know. And then you have Solana, which kind of made it a little bit quicker, gave more mind share to that. And so to me, I compare this to the video game system. When I was a young kid, there was Atari. This is before Nintendo. Now, it was before my generation, but my older siblings were playing it. And then you had something like Nintendo come out. And then you had something like Sega Genesis. And now you've got these newer consoles that are coming out. But people still play Nintendo. I mean, you have the game consoles you could get shipped and plug it into your TV with a USB. And so the way I look at this is there's room for all chains. And I think what SUI is trying to do is solve the barrier of having cross-chain assets. And so what do I mean by that? Right now, they just had a partnership where they're making liquid Bitcoin. And so although you might still have the Bitcoin and the slow transaction volumes, they're going to be able to pair it up to make you trade it faster on SUI. And I think that's what's going to happen with a lot of these meme tokens, for instance. Let's just say you're an ETH meme coin maxi. They're going to be able to bridge and start using SUI to still transact ETH memes over there. And so I just like to stay ahead of the curve. One of my favorite companies I like is Tesla. I have a Tesla myself, and I like the fact that they're always updating and learning from the users and making a better product. They're not just settling and saying, okay, we made this awesome Model S and we're going to stop there. They came up with the Cybertruck. And the way that I think about with these blockchains are, this chain has only been out for 1 year, but the people that built the chain have they had a history of over 10 plus years in crypto. They've won awards for it. So to me, like you said, with education, physician and all that stuff, once you get to 10,000 hours of doing anything, you have a deep understanding of it. And so you really know the nuances. And so when you're creating something, you're really going to not make any of the same mistakes that you've done before. And so that's kind of the way I look at SUI. There's going to be a role for all chains in the future. We're going to talk again in a year from now, and Bitcoin and Ethereum are still going to be reigning supreme. But if you're looking, that younger generation, you're trying to get that extra multiple, you have to, take a little bit more risk and invest in things that are newer. There is more upside, but there's also more risk and downside, like you talked about earlier. But that's kind of just the thought process with me. I like to be tech forward. The community likes to talk about tech, and that's kind of why we like SUI and decided to launch on there.
So I started my journey on ETH, bought NFTs, was just obsessed with Ethereum. My story, I feel like, is just super relatable, right? My husband was like, Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. And I was like, no, I like ETH. I like the art. I'm here. I'm the ETH girl, And then all roads led me back to Bitcoin. But now, people on Bitcoin too are into Solana, So that was very eye-opening to me. Over this past year, I noticed it's important to be multi-chain rather than just stick to one thing, but also to be open to the other chains. That's why when you came around with SUI and AXOL, I was like, this just made sense to me rather than just sticking into the one lane chain. And I think it's great that SUI's going to be adding on all these other chains to make it really multi-chain and to be able to swap and whatnot. So like I always tell people, it's better to be ahead of the curve than to be behind, like the buy the rumor, sell the news, type of thing, right? So it's like, be ahead, learn about what's coming. I've been writing to my friends like, hey, because they're like, oh, I missed Solana, I missed Ethereum. It's like, well, don't miss SUI, right? Like, don't miss the next one that's coming. That's already here, but still at its infancy stage, right?
Yeah, one of the things I like to compare to, because some of my investor friends that are in traditional finance is, when you're talking to a financial advisor and you're putting money in your retirement accounts, they invest in low expense ratio index funds. What is that? They're just investing in multiple legacy companies. It's de-risking you. It's costing you less fees to do it. This is the way I view crypto now. Like I love crypto, so I'm all in on crypto. But if I'm going to invest in it, I pretty much know how Bitcoin is going to perform within a certain margin. I kind of have expectations of how Ethereum is going to perform. And so you can start extrapolating these things and see where kind of the puck is heading. And so if you want to invest a little, like I love the way that you're willing to dive in, put a little bit of capital into SUI right now. And now you've seen the rewards from it, and you've seen this new project where if you didn't take that jump, if you didn't diversify your portfolio and you just kept on being this maxi, you're losing out not only on gains, but I think you're losing out as a person, because then you're in this only echo chamber, and you'll feel it on spaces. Because I've been to I was a Bitcoin maxi. I was a big, very fond of Michael Saylor, and I love if you see how he works. He is a great magician in terms of his talk tracks. He has things memorized that he could talk across the world and convince anybody that this is the best thing that has ever come to life. And so when you have that related to an asset, you could get very easily manipulated to thinking that's all there is in terms of crypto. Whereas to me, I'm thinking, wow, well, Bitcoin was this great creation, but there's a lot of little things that are, slow about it. And it doesn't make sense to scale when you're talking about creating a gaming console. I mean, you click a button, it would take hours to get the transaction to go through. It's not going to be realistic. And so that's where I think SUI comes into this, where this is finding the first chain where you're pressing the button and it is transactions done. And that's even, and I love Solana, so this is not a knock on Solana, but there's still, you press that button and it takes a few seconds for it to go through. And so when you're playing a game, I don't know if that's going to scale or work out. So that's kind of just my 2 cents of why I think SUI has definitely got a big role in the future of crypto.
Okay, Keith, what's next for AXOL in 2025? I know you gave us some alpha. Where do you see this going?
Yeah, so we actually just had a team meeting about this, and there's so many ideas. And what I like and what I've learned from prior projects is, everybody likes to know what you're going to be doing for them in the next year. But what I like to do is think, what does the community want to have happen? Because so many things shift. And so you might have a community that really wants to start having in real life events. You might have a community that doesn't like that and they just want to do community spaces. You might have a community that wants to go pivot into making a more extreme game that actually is, on the gaming console. You could go into pivoting to being a children's books. You could be into doing merchandise. You could be into doing movies, Netflix deals. And so I really want to see, I got to places in life by meeting people, networking, connecting, and seeing kind of where that path takes me. And so we don't want to be too firm on what we're promising, but if you know me, if you've seen what we've done as a community now, you know that we're constantly cooking, we're constantly listening to what everybody has to say. And with that, we're going to come up with something great, I think, in 2025. And we really want to make this a multi-cycle play. You're going to see meme coins that are birthed and die in one Bitcoin cycle. And we chose to build on SUI because we think we're going to look back at just the price of SUI, for instance, being around $4 or $5 right now. And we're going to talk in a year from now, and it might be 3, 4, 5x what that is. And then it's going to be exciting to be paired with that underlying asset. And hopefully, number continues to go up to keep the attention economy going to us. And by that time, we built something that keeps people excited and involved.
I love the community on SUI. Like I said before, it's always, for me, it's like it's a constant learning curve because you're in different spaces, different communities, different people, different wallets. Everything's different about it. So don't be scared. And I always say, like, right now, too, for me, there's still even just a little friction because I'm not used to it, but I'm like, this is what everyone's been saying for the past 5 years. When there's friction, there's something there. So don't be afraid to dive in. Keith, where can people learn more, whether it's about SUI or AXOL, the game, everything? Maybe share with us where people can learn more.
Yeah, so our main focus is usually putting all the announcements out on Twitter. And so you could search AXOL, the axolotl or AXOL coin on there. There is links to our Telegram, and our links in the header. We have our game link. We have our website link. We're going to have our aggregator link on there. We have a Reddit page that we do all of our announcements on. So I'd say the majority of communications are usually live on Twitter Spaces, which will post a link every day for that. And then announcements are also going live in the Telegram. So those are the two main places. You see maybe we'll share what my personal account is as well. It's open for DMs. The main account of Twitter, we listen to everybody's DMs as well, so you could get a hold of us that way.
Oh my God, Keith, thank you so much for doing this with me. I'm super bullish. Guys, catch us on the next AXOL Space. I think you're having one today. There's one almost every day. I love the Sunday ones too. So come find us up in Spaces. Come find us and talk and ask questions. I think that's how I learned too, Keith, over the years, is I just requested to speak and came up to ask questions. So feel free to come join us on X or like Twitter, whatever we used to call it.
I really appreciate your time, and I want everybody that is from the AXOL community that's watching this to like, retweet, and follow Girl in the Verse podcast. I personally vouch for her, love her YouTube channel. I think she's one of the most genuine people in crypto, and you don't get that sometimes. And so it's just nice to see her content. And I believe when she says something is hot, to go follow it. So follow her, and hopefully we'll do this again in a year.
Yes, I'm excited. Thanks so much, Keith. I appreciate it.
Take care.
Take care. That's it from me. If you want to learn more, check out the description down below for all the details. As always, DYOR, do your own research. This is never financial advice, and always double check the links you click. There are plenty of scams out there happening right now, so stick to the links down in the description below. If you enjoyed this interview with Keith, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with all things crypto and Web3. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.